Hi everybody, Lance from thetatraderz.com here. This video I'm going to go over technical analysis, economic reports, and earnings. There's not really many earnings this week for June 30th to July 4th. July 4th was the Friday, the market will be closed, so just an FYI on that. It'll be a relatively slower week in general, it's a 4-day week. Let's get into the analysis. So we look at SPY for the week. We did have another bullish week. Just check on the weekly here. If you saw the video last week, we did have a candle below the 9 EMA and the yellow line, but then it recovered from there on the 24th. We went above the 9 EMA, and then momentum kept it going, and we closed above 9 and 21 EMAs. I'll go back to the daily chart here. We're pretty much at all-time highs right now. I think we are at the all-time high above all the EMAs. There is no volume above here because we're at all-time highs. So this could be a good place to take profits. RSI is pretty much at overbought at this case at 68. We consider 70 as overbought. So again, this could be a good time to take profits. Your MACD has coiled slightly positive though, so there might be more room for continued positive chances here. But if you've been in the market for a while and you're able to take pretty good gains, that could be a good time to do so. However, when you're looking at all-time highs, it could continue to move up from there. QQQ, very similar story. We went above the 9 EMA on the 24th, stayed above it. Looks pretty much identical here. The RSI is even more overbought though at 71. And we did have a slight green candle on the MACD. Volume profile is not going to show much here as well, just because we're near all-time highs as well. And IWM is a little bit different. If we get IWM, we went above the 921 EMA, just like QQQ and SPY. However, we're right at the 200 simple moving average, this purple line. You can see how we closed slightly below it, but at one point on Friday we were above the 200, which is a very bullish indicator. So there might be more room for IWM to continue increasing. We're not quite at overbought yet at 61, and we did see a green candle in the MACD. The VIX is interesting. We've dropped quite a bit on the VIX. So that means that there's less volatility, there's less uncertainty in the market currently. If you look for the week, we had a really big dip down. And then on the 27th, we were at around 16. 16.11 was the low. We're currently at 16.32. Average volatility tends to be around 17 and 19 if you look at the mean or the median. And right now we are below that. When it's below those averages, you tend to not want to sell options as much just because there's not going to be as much premium when you're selling them. And take opportunities when volatility was higher in the 2021 range to sell premium. A lot of our members made quite a bit just taking advantage of the decrease in the volatility, even if the share price didn't necessarily go up, although most of them did go up because we're in all-time highs. There were a few positions where it didn't go up as much or went down from where we sold our strikes, and we still did okay just based on the volatility change. We get earnings, it's really almost nothing here. QMCO at $9 a share. I never trade that. STZ, again, 161, a little bit higher. We could take a quick look at that. STZ. And this was had a pretty big dip here. 196 all the way to 159, below all the EMAs. So it's a pretty bearish indicator here, even though the market was going up. If you are playing that, you might want to play for a recovery. If it happens to have good earnings, we're already in the oversold area, 31. So a possible trade here could be week out. And then we're at 161. You could try to play a put credit spread possibly around 152 or even 150, and then you could buy about a 5 or 10 width away from it. That seems like a reasonable trade there. I would keep a defined risk though, so you want to sell a put and also buy a put with it as well. So anyway, that was the market analysis for the week. If you have any questions, leave a comment down below. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. I do these videos regularly every weekend, so I'll see you guys on the next one.